Another video with some exercises that I used to do as young and why I got to be such a lousy tarot reader as well. I consecrated my tarot cards just like these, and in the zodiac and to the planets and for the magical purpose as a talisman. And if I had a very smaller deck than this, and I could carry it in my pocket, and if somebody needed a talisman, a homeless person or somebody, I could give them, since it was consecrated and charged by the angels. So they are quite good quality, so better than my hand-drawn sigils. But what I always... so I thought of a card, and then I always could pick up the right card from... every time I shuffled. I could always, tried to pick out the cards I was thinking of and always got the right cards. And that messed up a little bit of my tarot thing, since I always doubt that was it me thinking about the cards when I saw somebody. And I can feel that they are in that card. When I analyze, I can see that, they are in that stage and they should get that card. So am I thinking the cards through? Instead of having a spirit conversation. So that's why I don't read tarot for others. And then of course I blurt out things I shouldn't say. But it is a very good thing to know if you can use your mind to see what you have. And other that I thought of instead, since don't mess up your tarot cards like I did, so you get to be a bad reader, is can you influence dice? If you have dice, I used both from ivory, bone and wood. I never owned a plastic dice, so I don't know if I would connect. But if you think that you should get 1 4 and 1 3, for example, and then you get these numbers up, can you influence them so they fall like that? And then, of course, you can try to find items that somebody placed in the room. That's a good exercise. And then, of course, moving a pendulum, that is... others' pendulums when they are holding pendulums, or your own, and incense smoke as well. And I've gone through this before. Create a swirl in water in a bowl. Expand or make a flame smaller, or expands or dancing by focusing your mind. And don't sit so close so that you can breathe on it, but really exercise your mind here. And if you can visualize, this is a good exercise. Look in the mirror and close your eyes and see it in your mind's eyes. And then can you see yourself with a different eye color or hair color? And then you open your eyes if you can do that. And then, of course, you can create landscapes and buildings and so on. And practice that way. I've never been able to, so I'm a little bit jealous there. And hear music, write notes, and do you hear stories? And this is just trusting and going with the flow. So let's say that I tell stories. My friend had this old tarot card with a nice, I think it's a storyteller tarot deck. So if a child is visiting me and I pick up a card, so I tell a story right away. There's something in that tarot deck that makes me to tell bedtime stories. And so that is one thing. And you might also take notes if you get advice, guidance or accurate plans. Do they really, since they are just exercises, so you can test your accuracy. And to feel history. And you can either touch, you can feel a scent that is a little bit like an old scent, or maybe somebody used to smoke or something like that, that there is something that doesn't really fit in this, or the smell of lavender talcum powder or something like that. And then it might be that you have you are channeling for, let's say, invention, math, science, and downloads like, what was his name, Steve Jobs, that you can use in data engineering. And there are very powerful gem angels that can help you with anything scientific, like astrology, astronomy, and maths, and all science have a lot of angels. And then can you communicate your feelings towards an animal? Let's say that you think of how much you love them. Can the animal pick it up? You think of how much you that they are calm even when they are agitated. Can they become calm by that you think of being calm, and that kind? And plants and medicine, taste, know. And this is something that you really had to practice, since many plants are have a little bit of trickster spirits there, so they might want you to feel that they are good when they really not are that good. Or they might want to take over your garden. And then there's something that we practiced in the 80s and 70s. And that is like mind things. You create a thought form. I use that word now since I don't know an English word for but it was with the mind at least. And I created an aura that had it was sharp, had claws, and I had a huge dragon as a little kid when I walked through a neighborhood that was bad, so my aura took the shape of a dragon, for example, a fire dragon that was huge, and so on, to protect me, and just playing around with those kinds of things. And then this is something that I practice in my daily life today as well. Every time I don't ever think of, am I going to get a glass of water, or I'm never dwell. I decide I'm going to get a glass of water or a cup of tea, and then the intent is there, and then I march and do it right away. And that is the same way in magic. I just do it. So as quick as this comes, the decision is made, I charge myself and do it right away. And that can help many people in their magic. And here's a little thing that I don't do anymore, but we did it as I was a young teenager. And you look at the photo, and you nearly focus in on it, and then you think of a sphere or something, and fill it, and send it through the photo to the person, and then you can enter their dreams or thoughts. And you can charge it at multiple times, and you fill up the sphere from within, and then you let it come out. And when you speak the words at the last time, and you can use a candle and blow out the flame, and that's when let's say that you think of a pink elephant, so they are going to talk about the pink elephant the next day. It was quite innocent, but I started to feel as I got older that it isn't so nice of me to do that. And use good thought forms with a simple phrase. Let's say that you create a thought form with 3-4 words. And let's say that you want somebody to be kinder, and you create something with 5 words that they are kinder towards their co-workers or something. And then you think of that phrase, but when you see the person, you might just say 1 or 2 words from the phrase, and they start to act a little bit different to the next person. And this is also a practice, just see what you are good at. And reading minds. A lot of men were doing this in the 70s and 80s, and they held a photo, and then they stared at a black TV screen, and they entered the mind, and then they pretended that the TV screen was the mind of a person, and they could really send in or see what they were thinking that way. I never did that, but especially men were good at that. And I don't know if it's called auto-suggestion, but you charge a thought form that you created. And you can think of it, and you can look at a random person, let's say in the cafe or something. Let's say that you want that random person who you don't know to just come and speak to you, and you charge it like that, and then you just give them a quick glance and they will come over and talk to you. And that is also just a simple way to see if mind magic works for you. And use your own thought form to balance a space out. Since we all create simple elementals in our daily lives, and if you create simple thought forms of harmony and balance, you can use them just like to bring harmony into a space. And kids are very sensitive. I remember my childhood. And that is something I think many people do nowadays, especially with that 6-year-olds has to know everything about gender politics and all those kinds of things. And adults are accusing each other of race and transgender issues and so on. And the kids, they feel these thought forms, so they start to act just like their parents. And that has caused a lot of rumble. Since they are so passionate, so all people are creating thought forms in some areas. And that is something I wish that normal people would know, that like in political and activism, they have these thought forms and they grow stronger and stronger and stronger, and they affect and start to run havoc all over the world. So this was a weird little one with just exercises, but I had a dream about Anubis and Sekhmet, so I'm going to do one more video if it uploads today. Just to talk about what I dreamt and a friend who worked with Egyptian magic. So have a magical day. Bye for now.